Welcome back. In the previous steps, we used Mockito to mock the return data from specific methods. We said, okay, when then this method is called, do this, or when this method is called with this data, do this, or when this method is called with an argument matcher, do this. This thing which we are doing in here is called mocking or stubbing. However, this alone is not sufficient to write unit tests. Now, over here in our example, what is happening is the calculate sum using data service is returning a int back, right? Let's say it was not returning an int back. So instead of returning the int back, let's say if it was doing some data service dot store sum, and it was passing the sum to it, right? In typical code, there might be scenarios like this. In scenarios like this, it's not sufficient if we are able to stub the method. We would also want to be able to see if a specific method is invoked. I would want to find out if store sum method is called, and I would want to find out if the sum value which is passed to the store sum method is the right value. That's where the verification comes into picture. In this tip, we would look at the basics of the verification that you can do in Mockito. Let's create a new test, and I'll say public void verification basics. Let's say this is part of the system under test. Let's say inside this code, what they're doing is getting a value, a string value from the list. So list dot, actually it's mock, right? So we have mock dot get of 0. So let's say inside the system under test, we are doing a mock dot get of 0, and we are getting a string value back. Let's make this list a list of string. Now over here, we would want to verify. We would want to verify that the get method is called on the mock. How do we do that? The way we can do that is by using a method called verify. Verify is another static method which is present in Mockito. So Mockito.verify, I'm adding a static import. And verify on the mock. What do we want to verify? That the get method is called with, you can either use argument matchers or you can use specific index. So you can say verify mock dot get of 0. Let's see what would happen. Okay, the test succeeds. Now, there are a wide variety of other verifications that you can do. So you can say verify mock dot get with any int, right? So this is the argument matcher that we talked about. So verify that mock is called with int. That's cool. And also you can verify the number of times that a specific mock is called. So you can say verify mock comma times of 1. So here I'm saying verify that it's called once. So times is another static method which is present in Mockito class. Let's import that in, and this would check that it's called one time, and you'd see that the test is succeeding. So let's say I'm calling the get method with another integer. So I'll say this is value 1 and this is value 2. What would happen now? Verify get of 0. By default, it checks if it's called once. So this would be fine. Let's run this and see. So you can see that there is a failure. Which line is failing? It's saying wanted one time but was 2 times. Which line? Over here you can see that we are saying verify mock dot get any int. So with any int, these two match. So this method is called twice, but verify by default checks only for 1 time. So if it is called 2 times, I need to say times 2. The next test again would fail because times, it's not times 1, right? So it's times 2. So even the next one would start failing. So let's check that up. So here, instead of times, you can say at least. So if you want to check that at least once it is getting called, you can do something of this kind. So it checks if it's called at least once. There are other methods also. You can say at most how many times? At most 2 times. Again, it's a static method. It succeeds. Now you can also check that something is never called. So I can say get to is never called. So mock comma never. Again, you can guess it right? So it's static method. So mock never gets called. Cool. Succeeds because with get of to, the mock is never called. Actually, there is a different method at least once. Again, this is a static method, and you can also use that to verify. What we looked at in this specific step is how to verify that a specific method is called with a specific value on a mock. This is called verification, and it is important in scenarios where the value is not returned back. Let's say I'm calling another method on this mock or some other mock. In those kind of scenarios, you need to be able to verify. So you'll not be able to get it as a return value. In those kinds of situations, you need to verify on the mock whether a specific method is called with a specific value. That's the tip I'd leave you with in this specific video. Until the next tip, bye-bye.